I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. We turn now to page 38 in the Grade 3 Discovering Music Theory workbook. Moving to chapter 6, looking at the topic of intervals. And first of all, we begin by looking at the perfect interval. And so when we have a perfect fourth, a perfect fifth, or a perfect octave, we're basically counting 4 steps from the tonic. We're counting up. So for example, C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a fourth, or C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our fifth, and there's our octave, of course. And these are called perfect intervals. And these intervals, so from C to F, it would be a fourth. It would be a perfect fourth, even within the major or the minor, starting on this tonic. It's the same in both scales, whether it's major or minor, the same for the G, and of course the same for the octave. So fourths, fifths, and octaves, they would stay the same. However, the reason that these intervals are called perfect intervals sort of rests back in antiquity, from medieval times, when these intervals, the sound between these notes, was considered the purest sound, and so they were called pure tones, and then later it sort of became perfect tones or perfect intervals. And later, science has now proved them right, because when measuring these sounds, when played together, when we go from a perfect fourth, it creates a sound that is actually a whole number in megahertz, whereas most sounds are point something something something. I'm afraid after that my science really does run out, but they do create a particularly strident tone, which to our modern ear in classical music, especially perfect fifths and octaves, we kind of avoid those, and they're frowned upon in consecutive intervals. If we have fifth, 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 that's frowned upon in classical music because it does create quite a raw sound. But back in those medieval music times, they were considered the purest sound. And interestingly, the perfect fifth is what is used in rock music when played, say for example, on electric guitar with the amplifier on overdrive. That perfect fifth creates a power chord, that they call it, because of the sort of the overtones of the amplifier doing its thing, as it were. However, for our purposes, basically the interval a fourth, a fifth, and an octave, counting from the tonic, when we're not changing anything but just counting up the steps, they are referred to as perfect intervals. And you can either just count them in the steps, so counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then of course the octave. However, if you want to be extra sure, if you count up from the tonic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 semitones, not counting the tonic, that's your perfect fourth, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 semitones is your perfect fifth, and of course the octave here, that's 12 semitones. However, you must be careful when counting these semitones, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 must be from C something to F something, because 1, 2, 3, 4, we have to have that fourth. So I recommend that you just count the steps, counting the tonic 1, 2, 3, 4. You can double check by counting the semitones, but you see, we can write that same number of semitones, say for example, as an E sharp, and that would be incorrect because we need to be representing 1, 2, 3, 4, the step of F on the scale, as it were. We're representing the fourth step of the scale, which is F. It's not E sharpened. And so we can misrepresent in semitones if you're not careful. So always make sure that we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 note represented of the scale there. And before we look at exercise 1, there's just one more interesting point, just as a little bit of background information. We're looking at intervals, and when we have intervals that come together, like a chord, they are referred to as harmonic intervals, like a harmony. And when they come one after another, you know, there could be any sort of time value, as if it's in a melody, they are called melodic. Melodic, yeah, there we go. Can't talk and speak, it seems. Multitasking. And so we are ready now to go ahead and look at exercise 1. So we need to create the intervals named here by adding a note after the tonic. And so we need to bear in mind, it says use accidentals if necessary. And so we need to bear in mind what the key signature of the key is, and then add that in where applicable. And so we know that D major must have a key signature of F sharps and C sharps. And so anytime we have an F or a C, we must remember to add the accidental, because the key signature should apply as an accidental. And we always count the lowest note as 1. So a fourth is 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we just look at that from D, 1, 2, 3, 4, that takes us to G. And you can double check it if you want to step out the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And then of course you add your accidentals as necessary. And we can see that G should be the fourth. So we're counting space, line, 1, 2, 3, 4, stepping up the stave step at a time. And so if that's a fourth, our fifth must be one note higher, mustn't it? And then we can just check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can see that fifth is A. We still don't need a sharp yet, because none of these are F or C. And then the octave, of course, is going to be D to D. It must be only 8 steps away. No other D will do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we go up here, we've gone 2 octaves, haven't we? And there's our perfect octave. So it really is just counting the steps, stepping up 1 step at a time. And these fourths, fifths and octaves are just perfect. That's the name that they're given. So let's have a look at exercise B. So we must first of all bear in mind that F minor is related to A flat major. It has a key signature of B flats, E flats, A flats and D flats. And you can see how you need to know your key signatures, your relative majors and your minor keys. And we need to know all those. And so it's always helpful to just have them written out, all of the keys that you're going to be needing up to 4 sharps and 4 flats. And just have those at the ready so you can just quickly refer to them. And if you keep writing them out, you'll get to write them out in kind of 2 seconds flat, and then all of your information is there ready. So we now need to just count from this bass clef F, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is a B, so it must therefore be B flat. We have to apply this from the key signature that would be, however we're using accidentals. And if you're not sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Of course, your key signature will be active. And then we would also have to bear in mind raising the 7th. However, here, we're just dealing with fourths, fifths and octaves, and we can see that the fourth is indeed B, and that should be B flat. So we drop down an octave now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That takes us to C, which is correct. No accidental is needed. It's not in the key signature. And then the octave, we need to make sure that we get F an octave higher. And so if that's middle C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, line, space, line, space, line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's our perfect octave. And so perhaps now you feel you can just continue with the rest of this exercise 1. So do press pause, have a go, and then we'll check through these together. So we're in A flat major, which we've already worked the key signature out here, haven't we? We know that they're related keys. We can just write it out again for convenience. B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats. So we're counting a fourth from this A flat. A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our D flat, because we need to add what would be in the key signature. And so if a D flat is the fourth, the fifth will be E flat, but let's just count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the E, and that should be E flat. And then the octave, we're going to get to A flat again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's our A, an octave higher, and of course it still needs to be flattened. And again, if you're not sure, you can always just write out the scale and just check the numbers to be sure. Now F sharp minor, if you remember, is related to A major. And so that's got a key signature of F sharps, C sharps, G sharps. We're in the treble clef here. So counting from F, 1, 2, 3, 4 takes us to B. That's not affected by the key signature, so that's just plain old B. And then the fifth, if the fourth is B, the fifth will be C something, but we're an octave higher, so let's count it out. We're going to need some ledger lines here. F is the line, G is the space, A is the line, B is the space. So C is going to be the second ledger line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course it must be C sharp. And then we're way below middle C here, and we need to count up our octave. 1, 2, 3, counting line, space, line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's our F, and of course it needs to be F sharp. And then here we're in the bass clef, we have E major, which has a key signature of F, C, G, D sharps. So counting from E, space, line, space. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can double check here if you like. 1, 2, 3, 4 takes us to A. Or of course you can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E, F, G, A, B. We can see that A is the fourth and B will be the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to make sure we get the correct octave. This B would be incorrect because that's an octave plus, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't need the key signature here because we've got an A and a B. That's not there. And then finally our octave, counting up to the E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the E above middle C. And that's that question completed. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.